Hello and welcome to Washington Exec's video series. I'm senior reporter Rachel Kirkland and I am joined by longtime chef and entrepreneur Jon Krinn. Welcome, Jon.
Thanks again for having me as always, Rachel.
Good to catch up with you again. So you retired from your restaurant Clarity in January. What are your plans now and why are you choosing this new direction?
Well, Rachel, I think we all live our lives in chapters, and it's time for me to start the next chapter of my business life, building on all the wonderful experiences I've had before to create a lifestyle that I would like to endeavor moving forward. With agility being even more of a priority than ever before, I'm going to first concentrate on multiple, what I call zero footprint culinary verticals, to include private dinners in my guests' homes, worldwide culinary and yoga retreats with my wife, pop-up and charity dinners in both Virginia and DC, and then hopefully some consulting work both inside and outside the culinary industry, and in time, possibly a small boutique restaurant.
That sounds exciting. Can you go into more detail about the consulting part of your plan?
I think of myself as a catalyst, a creator of income. I look at every single day in business as a day of adversity and an opportunity to trust and connect with integrity to your current and prospective clients. I mean, I feel that I've acted on situations and processes somewhat uniquely. I think people have seen that. And I'd like to communicate my thoughts and perspectives to those who are in the restaurant industry, as we say, in the weeds, in their own endeavors. It's like editing your own college paper. Like, it's hard, right? You need some eyes on it. And I think, as we all experience our business life, we all have perspective that we could communicate to other people, right? That's what experience is all about. And I think at this point, I'm in that position, I would say. Additionally, I have, the pandemic has shown a few things about the restaurant industry, as well as other small businesses. And, with restaurants always being the anchor tenants of office buildings, and those, as building owners and business operators look to attract their colleagues back to the office, I'd like to bring landlords, investors, and the restaurant operators together in a process that facilitates and protects their fiscal and creative integrity of all people involved. I think there's a disconnect around small business operators existing and trying to thrive in mixed use spaces in buildings. I've been fortunate with things that I've done, but others haven't been so fortunate. I think if it's just like in the world, we do all have to come together to to make these formulas work. And I do see that not all of them work cohesively currently. So I'd like to help people get that done.
Now, do you feel you can apply your combined experiences even to advise those outside of the restaurant industry?
So, interestingly enough, if I did write a book, I'm going to say we can all say we're going to write a book. So, what would the title of our book be, right? So, I've always said, we all serve somebody, right? No matter what business we're in, just creating different widgets, right? So it's important to see opportunity and adversity in any landscape, as well as I try to follow my philosophy of, I guess I call it trust first, in regards to client relationships and development. And that's maybe a little different than some people operate, but I think it works. I tend to see situations, processes, and potential, like I said, somewhat differently than others, and it's worked well. And I do feel like I've had a chance in my career. It's like I'm in the restaurant industry, I'm in the kitchen, but yet my clientele is not in the restaurant business. They're in other businesses. And as we communicate with each other, because I like to get around and talk to my clients and get to know them, we start seeing that we're like-minded people in regards to business. We're just making, like I said, different products, different widgets. So I do feel I can communicate my messages to help any type and style of business. My resume, in a sense, does prove that out. I mean, 8 years at Booz Allen in strategic marketing from 2010 to 18, and then my work during the pandemic. I mean, I think showed that I can cross over from culinary into any business landscape. And I'd like to, to help people maybe understand their situations a little better.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, can you talk about what conditions you saw the pandemic bring to light for the restaurant industry, and then how will you act on those moving forward?
Yeah. So, the first thing it showed, obviously, is something we all knew, but it really brought it to the forefront, which is that small business and restaurants, like I alluded to, that occupy and are planned strategically to represent the mixed use space that's under the building that they're in, right? The owner of the building are gonna try to attract clients to rent their buildings, and they're utilizing the anchor mixed use food operators to attract clients. But yet, when the world changes now, whether it be social or economic, those small businesses are affected the most, right? But we are still the anchors of the communities and the anchors of those buildings, right? So there's a disconnect between how that whole process is done between the different parties, right? There's always multiple parties in a business deal, right? And you're trying to make it long term. You got leases, right? You got operators, you got adversity and fluctuations in business patterns, and you have, remember, food is discretionary income, right? You need to eat, but you don't have to go out to restaurants that are in these buildings. So it really brought to light that changes in the environment affect small businesses precipitously and never good. Right? The ability to that the pandemic showed, the ability to say, for example, go outside and add additional seats in front of a building in areas that never would have been eligible for that, actually brought up a good point, is that the only way a small business that is brick and mortar can bring in more money, because we don't work on laptops, right? To add a client is to add more seats and add more square footage. That's rarely possible. Okay. So we have to find another way to enable these small businesses to thrive within the formula that helps everybody, continue to do business and make a good living. There's been a lot of talk over the past few years before the pandemic about a living wage for restaurant workers. And remember, these restaurant workers are representing buildings as anchor tenants that are looking to get in law firms, accounting firms, cybersecurity firms right above them, right? So we're just as important as they are.
Absolutely. Well, it sounds like you have a lot that you have planned. We're wishing you all the best. Thank you for coming on and talking today.
Rachel, I can't appreciate it enough. Thank you so much.